Welcome, welcome. Good evening, everybody. We are now live. This is day one, session two of the the virtual Caribbean Language Festival being put on by the Society for Caribbean Linguistics. We would have had our conference. No, we would have all been in Trinidad, at this time for this week. But guess what? Plans changed. And some of us still in quarantine under lockdown with social distancing and so on, and we're in our respective countries. But that doesn't mean we can't still come together and celebrate Caribbean languages. And that's what we're doing. Earlier this morning, we had a session where we had two academic presentations on different aspects of Caribbean language and Caribbean language research. This evening, we're looking at poetry and games and proverbs and sayings. I was listening to a TED Talk earlier, and the speaker was saying that we should give ourselves the permission to be creative all the time, not just when something tragic happens, you feel like you want to write a poem or a song, or when you have a bad breakup or whatever, right? We should give ourselves the permission to be creative all the time. Creating poetry, creating songs, creating stories should be something that we strive to do all the time, and not just for special occasions and so on and so forth. And what we have here today is a group of persons who are following through on the mission to be creative, right? We have a group of persons here who are, professional, amateur, in between poets, and they're all here to celebrate poetry and creativity in different Caribbean languages. Now, the order for the presentation that we will have today is we're going to start off with poetry. Then we're going to have games in the middle, one particular game in the middle, and then close off again with some poetry, right? So our first poet today will be Aubrey McWatt, and I'm going to welcome Aubrey, and I'm going to ask Aubrey. So for each speaker, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Why is it that you started to write poetry? What language are you performing your poetry in? What Caribbean language you're performing your poetry in? And then you go right into your creative work. Aubrey, welcome. Glad to hear from you. We had a nice discussion before the start of the meeting, and you were telling us about your journey and where you are now. So Aubrey, over to you. So just unmute your mic, Aubrey, and go right into it.
Thank you so much, Clive, for having me on this distinguished panel. And, I'm so glad to get to know everybody. That's fabulous. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Guyana, in British Guyana, before it became independent. I was born in 43. Only 2 days ago, I turned 77. And I left when the trouble, there was obviously a lot of political unrest and a huge diaspora where, hundreds of thousands actually by now have left. The population at the time was 750,000. It's now only about 400 since the early 70s. And anyway, I left. I lived in a number of countries. I had a 30-year career in international pharmaceutical marketing. So I had the chance to visit like 70 countries. I've lived in 7. I learned languages, so I'm fluent in, in Spanish and French as well. And so I then migrated to Canada and moved to the States about 40 years ago. So I live in New Jersey now. And what I did, I did something that most people don't do. I took early retirement, and I had painted all my life, and I just wanted to have a formal education. So I took early retirement and I went on a 5-year sabbatical, lived in Washington, and attended the Seattle Academy of Fine Art, where I studied visual arts. And it was there that I became interested in I wasn't sure what I was passionate about. I became interested in philosophy and poetry. I started writing poetry then. I've published two books one book on my poetry so far, and that's in English. I've written over 250 poems. And I married my paintings and my poetry. That's only available because it's a coffee table book. It's only available, it's expensive, but it was basically recording my work. And so that is available on the publisher Blurb. Um, but like I said, it's a coffee table edition. And then I published my drawings after that. And then I did a 50-year retrospective of my early work. And I recently co-published my first novel, which I showed earlier. It's called Red Man. It's the story of growing up in Guyana as a mixed race person. I'm about on both sides of my family, and my grandparents, they're Scottish. My grandfather was pure Amerindian, well, Amerindian and white. He only came out of the interior when he was 12 years old. He was born from a British overseer who went in. The missionaries brought him out when he was 12. And so I have a close link to my Amerindian ancestry. And I have a small part of ancestry in the Middle East from Lebanon. Sorry, both of my grandparents married half Black. So I got, white, Black, Amerindian. So when I fill up the census form and I'm Asian, and then they say, we have to pick one, white, Black, Native Indian, or Asian. I said, well, I have all four. Which one should I pick? So
all right,
anyway,
good.
yeah. So that's the background. I've written, and I wrote about 50 vignettes, which I plan to publish in Caribbean Creole. And I recently wrote only 2 poems, but what I propose to do is read 2 short poems, and then one of the vignettes. Like Clive said, I could do 3. They're all very short. Can I go ahead?
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I think what I'll do is for those who might not be familiar, I'll just explain a couple of the terms that are in the poem so that it makes sense. Or do you want me to do that after the end?
Afterwards.
Afterwards? Okay.
Yes.
Saturday night is a very big night, as it is for most of the Caribbean. You'd go out to a public dance where it would be in a dance hall and you pay to go in, or a private home. And I guess that was pretty much the case in most of the Caribbean islands. So this poem is called Saturday Night. A depa me landing, lights turn on, nighttime come. I bathe off and I dry my skin. I nicen up before I left the yard. I jump on my bike for catch the soiree. Oh, Skype, my tire boss. Not for worry, I heist him up, put him under a bottom house. And I hustle for make the fete. Music blaring, I pay my dollar for getting. Man, you should see the woman there. In the best dandan, looking fancy bad. A typey song come on. I ask one for dance. We hug up one another all night long. Drink a little rum. 4 day morning come. I take my sapadilla home in a bus. I reach for pick up my old catamus. Put my way thinking the time was right. Bye. What a Saturday night. And just to explain a couple of terms quickly, in Guyana, we don't shower, we bathe off. And we don't dry ourselves. We dry my skin. I dry my skin. And we catch the soiree. We catch things. Oh, skite, well, that's a combination between, some bad words, but it's a common expression, a common word. I heist them up. We don't lift things up. We heist them up. And I guess that comes from hoist, but we say heist, H-I-C-E, heist. And a bottom house, most of Guyana it faces the Atlantic, and many parts of it are below sea level. So a lot of the buildings are like on stilts. And so they're built up one floor, you go upstairs to get to it. And it's called the bottom house. It's under the first floor. But in Guyana, we don't say we're in the bottom house. We say we under the bottom house. I never understood how you could get onto something that's already empty space. But anyway, I put my bike on a bottom house. Well, Dan Dan, best Dan Dan is your best clothes, fancy. Tai Peak song is where you're so close that you don't have bodily functions anymore. You're tied up. And Fude morning, I don't know, some of you may be familiar.
Yes, we're familiar with that one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so as a matter of fact, we were able to understand most of it. So feel free to just read the other two.
Sapodilla is a fruit in Guyana. Like the girl, I take the sapodilla home. Sapodilla is a fruit, much like an egg, about twice the size, same shape. It's got a smooth brown skin and the sweetest flesh underneath. So your girlfriend is your sapodilla. Nice, smooth brown skin and the flesh underneath so sweet. So that's the first one. And you want to just go on, or? I can't hear you.
Go right ahead.
Okay,
man. That's fine.
Okay, the other one is very simple. It's called double talk because in Guyana we don't have the word very. If anything is higher in value, we just repeat the word. And so, for example, nothing is very hot. If it's not hot, if it's hotter, it's hot. And if it's nearly boiling, it's hot. So we don't have very. I don't know if you do it. So this one is called double talk. Rain come down hard. Water fill up the trench full. And I'm look deep. I run home fast. The shot from my skin wet. And I'm feeling cold, my face turned blue. My mother said I got a high fever. She wrapped me in a long towel. She make me some hot tea. I take my drink and I drink them down quick. I sleep song and I'm feeling better now. The sun come out bright. I take a little walk outside and I'm feeling good again. And I got one vignette that I would like to read. And I don't know how many of you have been to Guyana, but this is the roundhouse. And this will take just a minute or two. And this is what the roundhouse looks like. Mm-hmm. It is in a part of, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the outside. And this is what the inside looks like. It's empty. It's just a big empty round space. Okay. And the history of this is important, just very quickly. It was first a governor's home, and it burned down in 1855. And they built the roundhouse. And Kingston area is the oldest area in the city of Georgetown. And so this roundhouse is probably, it's one of the oldest architectural pieces that you'd find in the city. And it replaced the governor's home in 1860, and it became a fort with guns, and they would use it to protect themselves from Fort Georgetown, Fort Georgetown from the roundhouse. So this is on a part of the seawall toward the western end of the city. And what happened is, because it's empty inside, vagrants started to take over, and then they'd rob people who were walking on the seawall, which is a common thing for an outing for an evening, to be on the, right on the Atlantic. So they chased the vagrants out, and then lovers used to use it to lure just get their girlfriends inside and do a little hanky panky, if you know what that means. I know you know. Okay, so I'll read this, and this is the last one. We could come back if there's time. Okay, it's called Roundhouse. I know this girl, Betty, good. She boyfriend Ralph, she forgot she was with he. I tell she don't go, cause I hear but this boy and he ain't up to no good. She ain't listen to me, and she gone she was with Ralph. They sit down catching a little breeze. The boy pull out a flatty from his back pocket, and every now and then he taking a little tooks. Ralph turned to Betty, have you take a walk? They go along the seawall till they reach the roundhouse. Ralph smiling and asked Betty, you want to go inside a little bit? She asked if she can go inside for I'm empty. He coach her in now. Come on, darling, we can just take a look. Betty little frightened now. Me don't trust you. What if we get in there and you try something? They only got one door for me get out. Well, then they end up going in, and Ralph start hugging she up tight. Next thing you know, he trying to lift up Betty's skirt. She honey one slap across his face. Pie. Ralph wipe his face and look at the half to see if he mouth bust. He mad now and start chasing Betty round and round. But he little tipsy and he can't go too fast. Betty reached the door and run out. She gone down the seawall as fast as she foot can take she. Ralph behind, but he moves slow and he little wobbly. The sea there right up against the wall now, and Ralph foot slip off the edge. He fall in the water, bludgeon. We give sounds when people fall, when things happen. Words have sounds. Bludgeon, he fall in the water. Betty looked back, and the boy head bobbing up and down, and he's splashing around. He can't swim, plus he sauce up. He start floating away, and Betty left watching. They never seen or hear from Ralph again. The authorities declare that the tide must he take he out and he drunk. People say he deserve what he get, but the poor boy then had for dead for what he do. That's the roundhouse.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Aubrey. Wow. Really interesting look at Guyanese's life. Thank you for sharing your poetry with us, Aubrey. Aubrey, where would we find your work if somebody was looking to find something that you published? How they go about doing so?
Well, there's a site there's a site called a book publisher called Blurb. I did not put it on Amazon because Amazon adds another 20% on top of a very, very high price. It's a very high quality coffee book, 12 by 12 publication. I could if you just give me 1 second, I'll pull it and show you what it looked like.
Well, tell us the website. It's blurb.com.
Yeah, blurb.com. And
okay.
What I did is I married my paintings, and I've written over, maybe nearly 300 poems, but I've got about 100 poems in this book. It's called Poetry and Painting, Creating Connections. And and it's like, I have a painting with a poem. I didn't do them together, but I married them in terms of what the emotional content was for each one at the time. So I linked them that way. Good, and then the next one I publish is my drawings. I have about 100 drawings in charcoal. And the last one I've done sculpture in wood and clay and stone. And I publish a 50-year retrospective. These are all on Blurb.
Good.
And most recently, the only one I have on Amazon, I'm working on 2 other books right now. There's this book I spoke about earlier. It's called Red Man. It's growing up in Guyana and leading up to the diaspora, with the history of life growing up in Guyana as a mixed race person.
Yes.
And then the political climate that developed, and this is on Amazon. There are a lot of Redman, so if you type in Redman McQuat,
Yes, we
you would
should find
find it, and it's both in paperback. This is the paperback and an ebook.
All right,
That's
good.
it. That's
Thank
where
you very much, Aubrey. So persons who want to
I
check
hope
it
I
out.
didn't take too much time.
No, that's fine. Blurb.com or Amazon.com and search for Aubrey McWatt. We'll probably post a link.
Redman McQuat.
Redman McWatt, right? We'll probably post a link on the Caribbean Linguistics Facebook page, right?
Thank you.
All right. So our next poet we have up is Inorca Rudolph, right? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's my best attempt. But Inorca, unmute your mic. So you're still muted. So yeah, good. So unmute your mic, Inorca, and tell us a little bit about yourself and go right into your poetry.
Yes, thank you, Clive. I am Inorca Rudolph, as you pronounce it perfectly. And I was born in Curacao, and then I moved to the Netherlands. And in Curacao, they actually speak Papiamento. And that is the language I will be reciting my poem in. And I'm gonna dive right into my poem. It has some background music.
All right.
Tratando na pega sonho e barco de passado, tancrado em minha mente, navegando, riba lágrima de dolor, patopa e la mão, com a forma, riba me cusinti. E cusinti, com a mi cubo, junto, nossa comparti. E mesmo cusinti, caminha me tabata para admirar, bocar angelical, de meia-noite ora me espierta. Tratando, na laga e barco, que rumo pa passado. Memória não, te dirigir back em presente. Lagando atrás, herida que guardo la baco salo. Herida que lo transformado em cicatriz. E culpa sempre lo que era tatuar de mi corazón. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I don't know what you said, but man, I was hypnotized. You need to tell us about that poem, please.
Yes. I'm gonna, it's a poem about heartbreak. And I'm gonna translate it just a little bit. It's about someone who's trying to sleep, and the memories, the ship of the past keeps going through the memories, and they form a C on the pillow. And then the person remembers how it was to see the angelic face on the cushion while you tried to fall asleep, and trying to let the ship sail into the past. Memories drive it back into the present, leaving behind a wound that has been washed with salt. That will form a tattoo of pain forever in my heart.
Oh my goodness. Why? Who could have done that? Wow. Very nice, Inorca. You had another poem that you'd like to share with us. Feel free to go right ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
This is a poem actually in English. And it has to do with the consequences of slavery in nowadays. Geographically, from the mainland in the Atlantic, where the first seeds of brainwash were planted. They led to a collision between local tradition and imported civilization, whipping our ancestors to be reborn into generations forever transformed. Because the unconscious mind does the talking, while most of us are still sleepwalking. Nowadays generation doesn't understand what the pain was because of transgenerational brainwash. Our ancestors agreeing to the illusion of being reborn through education and religion, unconsciously throwing away our own African tradition. To avoid miscommunication, I have taken you back to the beginning of dehumanization that still has its after effect in every Caribbean, African American, and Latin identity for having transformed us into the weaker majority. That we have been brainwashed into believing that our culture is inferior can be seen through the way our queens manipulate their hair, because it is believed that it can be repaired, mistreating gorgeous locks only to contribute to this ridiculous paradox, forgetting to embrace the stunning greatness of the potential of its uniqueness. That we have been indoctrinated into an imported civilization can be seen through the way nowadays generation suffers from memory loss. For example, do you know garlic is a natural antibiotic and sage transmutes energy? With that sentence, I just got my point across. Amazing knowledge and spiritual beliefs. Our African heritage, characterized as voodoo, to be banned from our memories, therefore making us dependent of pharmaceutical supplementary. We are all from the mainland in the Atlantic, rising above transgenerational brainwash, accepting ourselves and freeing ourselves. That was it.
Thank you very much, Inorka. Inorka, where can we find your work? If somebody wants to see more of your writing, hear more of your writing, how do they go about it?
Yes, well, thank God I have a very unique name. So if you Google my name,
Yes.
I'm very grateful for my parents for that. So if you Google my name, Inorka, and my last name is Rudolph, then you will find it. I have some work published on Instagram. I have some on Facebook, and I actually have a visual masterpiece coming out to accompany the last poem that I made. And I'm gonna send that one into the world on August 17th. So just search for Inorka Rudolph on YouTube or my Instagram, and you can find my work.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. I definitely want to hear more of your work. And I'm glad that I think you just recently sent a request to join the Society for Caribbean Linguistics Facebook group.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll be able to post some of your work, especially the ones in Papiamento. If you have them on YouTube or anything, please feel free to share them. We'd love to hear more of that. Thank you very much, Inorka.
I will definitely do so. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So next up, we have Michelle and Deidre, who will be sharing with us a language game. And this is very important because it could be a very useful teaching tool. So I'm going to allow Michelle and Deidre to walk us through what exactly this game is about. And the game is called The Translator. So explain it to us and tell us whether or not it's something that anybody could play. So, Michelle?
Well, I think Deidre is going to start by walking us through.
Okay, good.
Trying to
bring up the screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we're seeing the
Yes.
screen.
All right. So thank you very much for this opportunity. The Translator is an educational game that we created last year. Originally created for International Day celebration at UTEC Jamaica, caters mainly to high school students, but also to students at the university level. We created the game in celebration of the 100-day tribute to Louise Bennett Coverley. So we wanted to do something that reflected Jamaica, reflected the language, and so we created the game. It's a one-player game that tests person's ability to translate Jamaican into English, and it was developed in PowerPoint. And we use the Cassidy JLU writing system. In the original game, we did not have any Jamaican audio, but we threw some in for this demo. And while it would have been great for others to test it out, Michelle is going to play the game for us to give us an idea of how it works. All right.
Okay.
And then persons can always share afterwards. So Michelle.
All right. No, thanks, Deidre. I'm going to be playing the game as if I am just getting the game and I really don't know anything much about it. Okay. So do not consider the fact that I am recreated it. I am unable to share my screen, Deirdre, because it says that you're still sharing.
I stopped.
She stopped, so try it again.
Okay, good. Let me do this now. Oh, so we have... Are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so here we have a game. Oh, it's called the Translator.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's look at the credits. Okay. All right, let's take a look.
So read it for us.
You're not hearing the audio?
No,
No, we're not hearing the audio.
Oh, I
so
know
you might
why.
have to read
1 second. I can't read it. I'm awful at it. And I think too, it's important for you to actually hear it. So I think I know what I did wrong. I didn't share the computer sound. So I'm going to go back.
Yeah, it's just that even if you do share the computer sound, it might be a little low. Okay.
Well, let's see. If it's low, I'll then read.
So try it again.
I mean name Maddox Mapalo, the best lawyer in the world. Them a try one big case at the London Criminal Court where them say one man from Jamaica beat up one other one. The man what them say beat up the other one, and the people them what see what happen chat mostly Jamaican. The interpreter them what the court got can't really understand the language, so them a look somebody else. You and some other people apply, but cause them no want no more shame, them have to test on first to see whether you can explain what the people them a say in English. You have to answer 5 questions. You ready to do this?
Am I ready? All right, let's try this. Okay, so that is the scene going on now. This is what he said. All right, let's just listen to it.
Me really name mean to hurt the man. Me really name mean to hurt the man.
Really name mean for hurt the man. Me really name mean for hurt the man. All right, let's try this. Careful, we can't have non-Jamaicans. No, we can't have. All right. Okay, let me go back and try. I won't disappoint you.
Me really name mean for hurt the man.
Me really need. Okay.
Nice. Same way so.
Okay. The man they start going dark. Hey,
The man they start going dark aya.
Aya.
The man they start going dark aya.
Dark. Balak, dark.
The man they start going dark aya.
Breaking news. American selected as Jamaican language expert. Shock and disappointment is the reaction of the Jamaican community, as news that American Mary Josephs has been selected as the interpreter for the high-profile criminal case involving the Jamaican Charlie Dad's rescue. International lawyer Maddox expressed his dismay, claiming that he never saw it coming. Meanwhile, in Trinidad and Tobago, news of a possible cure.
All right. So
Why did this
work.
screen come up? It came up because you got it wrong?
It came up because I got it wrong. But if I go back and try, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it through getting the answers correct.
All
so
right.
I'm going to play it through to the end.
The man they start going dark aya. Yeah man, that's how we do it. A three thump the man give me in my face, you know. Blow.
Okay, him can count.
A three thump the man give me in my face, you know. Blow. Yes, boss, and we run things. The man too bright and out order. As me say, pick up yourself.
A Jamaican me name. I lied woman I tell about me first attack the man. Let me see if I saw Charlie sound.
I like the man I tell about me first attack him, man.
If I me attack the man, it means I may start the fight. If I may start the fight, it means I may start the altercation. All right.
News just in. A Jamaican will be representing Charlie Dad's rescue in the highly publicized international criminal case. The screening spokesperson announced that the Jamaican expert's presentation was flawless. The closed-circuit case is expected to begin next month. In other news, Fame Frequency Hot Nights Online is the latest of innovations to hit the market.
Okay, so essentially, that is
The winning page when you succeed.
that's correct. That's the winning page.
All right, good. Very innovative game. I like the premise on which it is built, because I could actually give you guys some material from actual cases. Here in Canada, I worked on a case here in Canada where it was declared a mistrial because the person who was doing the interpretation was doing such a poor job. Fine. So I could show you some material and you could tweak it and make it even a bit longer. Right. Who knows? But I certainly like the premise. Thank you, Michelle and Deidre. Is there have you tried this in any classroom setting as yet, either Michelle or Deidre? What has been the reception? Tell us.
Not in a classroom setting. We had done it, as Deidre said, for International Day at UTech. International Day is where we have a number of school students coming in to celebrate the languages taught. And so we had a game booth, which had English that day, Spanish, a number of Spanish. And then, of course, because we were celebrating the 100 days of Miss Lou,
Yes.
we had the translator as well. So we had a number of persons playing it. We had a timer on it then. So they complained that the time ran out too quickly because, it was taking some time for them to get used to the language. We removed it just for the demo, but we're thinking that a timer for a sensitive court case would make it more realistic. So we haven't done it in a classroom setting, but we have done it in a setting among high school students, and they loved it. And I can't remember the stats, Deidre, I don't know if you remember, but something like 36 or
it was
the most played game
on the day. I think one of the challenges too is that it was difficult for many of them to read the text. And as I said before, we didn't have the audio as yet. So I think that with the audio, it would improve. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. And I noticed your answers followed a template where one answer was clearly wrong. One answer was like a word-to-word translation, and then the third,
Right.
the correct answer was like a sense for sense
Right.
translation, which would have been the correct one.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like it. And definitely something that would get people interested in seeing how the language could operate in certain contexts, and how misinterpretation
Can
could
happen.
lead to very dire consequences.
Mhm.
So thank you for that, Deidre and Michelle. So we're moving on. We're going into representatives now from the Jamaica Association of Montreal. So let me introduce these lovely ladies from the Jamaica Association of Montreal. I've been visiting Montreal for several years now. And last year, I did a presentation at their association on the evolution and status of Jamaican Creole. And since then, we've been in really close contact. And for the past 6 weeks, I've been doing more or less a kind of basic introduction to the structure and grammar of Jamaican Creole for members of the Jamaica Association of Montreal. And we've been having such a lovely time. And it turns out that today is their last class. So I told them to join in on this meeting today, because their final assignment, guess what their final assignment is? To create a poem in Patois. And now they have the pleasure of reading their poem to the whole world, right? As a part of their final assignment. Which one of you ladies would like to start? Would you like to start, Sharon? Sharon is the vice president of the Jamaica Association of Montreal. I'm going to ask. So I'm going to say Sharon, then Tony, then Miss Hazel, then Hector. And what I will do, I will read one of my poems as well, as a part of the Jamaica Association of Montreal. So Sharon, let's start with Sharon. Go right ahead, Sharon. We want to hear your poem or your short story, whatever it is. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be a part of this very, fabulous group. Thank you so much, Clive, for inviting us to join. And a happy Independence Day to all Jamaicans today. Yay!
Yes.
So my poem is entitled "Ladsa Me I Try." When me think about fi study patois, me say to myself, I know nothing. But when me start the class, me have to say, what? This ya thing ya not easy for real. This ya thing one name patois. This thing where some people think say a pian language. Them think say a mash up English. True, we're born with it and we grow with it. And true, and we think say I know nothing. And true, Jamaica never respect it since morning. We make for believe say true, I know nothing. What? Me have to say patois I run things though. People want to know about it and what more important, speak it. So from I know nothing, a sinting, a real sinting this your language, where we have to be proud of. This your language wa name patois. Thank you.
Yes. You go, girl.
Amen.
Yes, Sharon. That's it. Same way, so. All right, so Tony, you next, Tony. Tony, come in with your poem. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tony is doing a PhD in economics. How she in a patois class, me no know. He's in a PhD in economics. Tony, which part of Jamaica you come from? Tell a little bit about that and go right into your point.
Okay, well, I grew up in St. Andrew, in Jamaica. Everybody say Kingston, but technically it's St. Andrew. And I've been living in Canada for the past 4 years, and I'm doing my PhD, as Clive said, in economics at Concordia University in Montreal. I ended up in this class because, I have 2 young children, and being here in Canada, I wanted to expose them to patois, and I wanted to be able to, provide them with the tools to understand their language. I grew up, being confident in being Jamaican and our language and how we speak, and I want to pass that on in a tangible way to my two children as they grow up here in Canada, away from their heritage, their direct heritage, so to speak. Okay, so my poem, I'm a bit nervous, but here we go.
That's fine, man. Go right ahead.
Here we go. When me think about my boy Britney them, my face light up bright, bright. But locks, what make them boy Britney no sleep when it turn night? Old time people say, boy Britney love them mama, them mother. Though sometimes when them give me trouble, me feel like me just can't bother. Still, them two boy are the apple of my eye. When me think about them future, me start cry. This world where we live in, it rough and tough. Me just have to teach them say, who them be is just enough. Me only hope say, them never forget as long as them live. Say them mother love them, enough, enough, enough.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's really good, Tony. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yes, man. A plus. How are you chat about? I hope you use the writing system. You see, I give me thumbs up. You use the writing system.
I tried to. I tried as best as possible to,
All right, all right. We shall see. We shall see. Miss Hazel, unmute your mic. Yes, Miss Hazel. Miss Hazel, please introduce yourself to us and go right into your poem.
Okay, my name is Hazel Williams, and I'm telling you, this part was busting my brain because all this thing what we have to do. But anyway, I just jot down one little. I am the amateur in this whole slew of people. I'm just the amateur. Never write a poem before.
Well,
anyway, I jot down something, so I'll go and say it now.
Thank you.
Me carry me cloth to make me frock. She take me measure, she give me the price. Me feel so good me they get new frock. 2 week, 3 week, when me frock, so me tell Miss Letty about the frock. But the frock, too big it can't fit. Me belly boil, me heart bust. Cause me frock can't fit none of it. I will give you the story about this frock. And I can't dress, forgot to the dressmaker. Me wait so long to get it. When me get it, the frock too big. So I carry the frock to somebody to alter it. She altered it, it's too small. So me couldn't fit it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you very much, Miss Hazel. Thank you very much. Hey, Miss Hazel, a serious thing you're talking. You know how much cloth that dressmaker now?
There you go.
You know how much cloth put on a dressmaker Jamaica right now? Or some corduroy material we stop wearing, you know, they're dressmaker. So your poem is autobiographical. It's historical and a fiction you talk about. Hector Deland. So for persons who are seeing Hector on the screen, you would know that we call this name in Jamaica Deslandes. You ever hear people slaughter Hector name like that? Hector Deslandes. Her name is Deland. Hector, introduce yourself. Another PhD candidate from Jamaica Association of Montreal. Unmute your mic and go right. So Hector, I want you to read 2 poems because Hector have all of 5 poems. So I want you to read 2 of your short poems, Hector, for us. So go right ahead.
Okay. I am a retired teacher, and I decided to do a PhD. I'm presently a full-time student at the University of Ottawa, and I'm looking at the Jamaican community in Costa Rica and their influence on that region. And what I found out is that within one string of sentence, you can have a combination of English, Spanish, Megateli. So when the opportunity came about to take this course in Patois, I found it very interesting. And I thought, well, let me try to write Patois. It's not easy. I have written quite a bit of poetry, but in English. And so this was a challenge for me. So let's go. Clive, you haven't heard this one before.
All right, give it to me.
It's called Patwa Gone Abroad. Auntie Rosie, you remember when we did liquor? We have to chat the Queen's language. Now the whole country attack Patwa. It no matter if you chat Basulek, Misulek, or Acrolek, everybody a chat some kind of lek. Then Mrs. For me cousin Maisie, try to get a visa and the immigration turn her down. But Patwa reach a Canada. This a real scandal. Them say at York University, Professor Clive Forrester, a real Jamaican, you know, him a teach the foreigner them Patwa. And all you can hear in the hallway, how you do, and where you go, all right? Hey, Lordy, what a sin thing, Patwa gone abroad.
All right, one more, Hector. Look with the next one. I want to them.
This one is called Me Granny. Everybody have a granny, but for me granny are the best in the whole world. Some people call her Aunt B, but me call her Mama. She know how to get up early and fry the dumpling them way before Papa bring the cow milk. She know if you make the rundown with the mackerel and roast breadfruit, why this make we lick the plate them clean. She not afraid to grab me father and tell him not to beat me no more cause me a girl child. She love to plant the roses and watch them till them bloom. And when night come, she pray for God protection on all the way. You understand why me granny are the best in the world.
Wow. So folks, that was the class from Jamaica Association of Montreal. As I said, today is their last class. They came online, they're sharing their poetry with us. And I'm going to read one of my poems that I shared with them as well. You guys from Jamaica Association will remember this poem, but it's going to be new to the audience here. So I'm going to read one of my poems them now. You ready, Miss Hazel? All right. So this poem, so the poetry that I write, I'm a performer. I'm not sure if you can tell, but you know, I like to be on stage and this kind of thing. And whenever I write a poem, I picture it being performed by a particular character. So this poem here, the poem I name Hypocrite. And it's about one of those persons in church who always have something to say about somebody else, but not noticing the beam in their eye. They can see everybody's speck, but they can't see the beam in the one. This was, I wrote this one as a teenager, back when we used to go to church. So I'm going to share this one with you all. All right, ready now? Let me get in a character. Locks in the church, Hattie, look how me this a sweat. From the time Father Barry said them I buy 2 new fan, you mean to them I buy them yet? From the time them I take my money, me can't see where it a go. The amount of money me can buy air C, me can't take the heat no more. Why, Miss G, I like your dress. Bright, bold, red like Cupid heart. Don't make that get to your head too tough for it to really favor foot cloth. Eddie, what a way you lose the weight. You soon look little like ants. You can't turn the follow me. Your belly bang like elephant. Miss Aina, what a way they picnic cute. You must carry her more often so we get to know her. If ugliness was an enamel cup, that cup surely run it over. Yes, Father Barry, please to start the sermon. It's long time a day I wait. Me have to reach the hairdresser at 11:30 and I don't want to be late. You know, Mrs. Suarez not treat Father good. Wanna see how I'm looking slim? Have the big man over there feeding pan greens. Now tell me if that is not a sin. Hallelujah, higher shante, hey, baby, oh, gong. Please don't grudge me for my spiritual gifts. Not everybody can speak in tongues. Yes, Daniel was in the lion's den, and Uncle God could take him out. All backbiters who are chat behind me, may their Jesus box off their mouth. Yes, Father Barry, some people in a Holy Spirit who certainly bring Christianity to shame. But no bother make the whole of we feel bad. Be thou specific and call to name. Come, Father Barry, why are you waiting so long? Please to give us the name of the two smaddy. The Holy Spirit is moving quite strong. But stop. I know my name, Father Barry, this call. Him had gone through the gate. Come, Father Barry, please to repeat that name, cause the congregation shall not wait. Kiss me neck. It's what Father Barry do. Him really call me name? From the pulpit my business flows. Father Barry really put me to shame. I am leaving this church right now. It is not Christian to call up people name. I rebuke you, Father Barry, for such a deed, for as you shall get the blame. Let me collect my possessions, cause them are people thief gone to bed. I am never coming back to this hypocritical church. But why see that now and dead be dead? All right, and that was hypocrite. One of them old-time church hypocrites. So I presented my poem as a member of the Jamaica Association of Montreal, which I'm an honorary member. So I'm going to hand off now to Travis. Travis, you're still here? Travis. Where is Travis? All right, unmute your mic, Travis. All right, good. All right. All right. So Travis, I want you to introduce yourself, and then we're going into your poetry.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Good night. Moi c'est Travis. My name is Travis. Like moi c'est Jean Saint-Licy. I am from the people of Santa Lucia. Saint Lucia. Mais à présent, je travaille en Trinidad. Now I work in Trinidad. Et moi enseigné théâtre à University of the West Indies in Trinidad. Right? I know you'll understand that. I have to translate, right? Bon, well, I have been practicing theater for a lifetime and writing poetry as well for a lifetime. So that's many years. I don't know what to say about myself, except that that I studied in Jamaica, I studied in Barbados, I work in Trinidad, I am from St. Lucia, I do research in the other islands. I'm a Caribbean man. I love Caribbean culture, Caribbean languages, and my work, whether I'm writing or I'm directing, whether I'm writing plays or poetry, it's all about exploring the cultural material of the Caribbean and using that cultural material in order to speak to the Caribbean, to Caribbean issues, to speak to me, to speak to St. Lucia, Jamaica, to speak to all of us, and of course to find our commonalities. Amen. Ibon, Honukadi and Saint-Licy, Ibon, it's good. Great. So I would like to read for you a poem that is called En route. En route. Now that sound en route, we always heard as a child. We played as boys, you know, en route, which really means like move, run, you know. And that must have, I know where it came from. It must have come from far. I mean, it comes from en route, you know, in terms of the words, which is the French, en route. We said en route, and we played with it. We played running in the mountains and across the rivers and so on. You know, in St. Lucia, just like Jamaica and Suriname, etc., we had a maroonage, the Negmawa, we call them, you know. So I think I was a Negmawa when I was a boy, and I loved playing en route. So I wrote this poem called En route that I want to read for you now. What I'll do, I think I'll translate it stanza after stanza. En route, messieurs, en route. C'est chien qui a happé. Yo enragé, qu'on béché. Messieurs, en route. All right. So let's move, guys. Let's run. The dogs are barking. They're very angry, like the white people. Run. Next stanza. En route, messieurs, en route. Asou mon nan nou ka ale. Kenner ou chape? Pani du bout, nou oblige rive. Messieurs, en route. Right? Basically, let's move. We go into the top of the hill. Kenner, you escape? No stopping. We must reach. Come on, move. En route, messieurs, en route. Zotan fiziak a pété. Se moun nan pa ka jwe. Isan, yo tout pwe. Pa ni tan pou mize. Mamzel a wet plewe. Mais c'est en route. All right. So basically, you all hear the guns. Zotan fiziak a pété. You all hear the gunshots. Se moun nan pa ka jwe. These people are not playing, they're serious. Isan, yo tout pwe. Seems like they're close. Pa ni tan pou mize. We have no time to rest. Mamzel, I went play away. My lady, please stop crying. Monsieur, one move. Yeah? All right. Next stanza. C'est nom la ka espéré. Manikou, j'ai dit fait. Depuis la lime la chapé. Monsieur, nous a clété, monsieur, en route. Right? C'est nom la ka espéré. The men on the hill are waiting. The Manikou is already on the fire. Since the moon came out. Come on, I see some light. Let's move. Madame, pas plewe. Moi, ça vous blesser. Acide exposé. Espérer. Marie ou kay dérivé. Demain matin avant coq chanter. Mais c'est en route. My lady, please, I know you're hurt, but just stay, rest a while. I'll have your husband come back and meet you. Let's move. En route. C'est pour liberté, localité, égalité, en vérité, fraternité. C'est pour nous toutes. Mais c'est en route. Right. So it's for liberty. We are fighting. Equality is the truth. Fraternity is for all of us. Let us move. Right, guys? That was en route. It's like, you know.
En route. Et bon.
Oui. It's like, imagine it, you know, the scene where we had to move, we're running and we get going because, you know, what's coming behind there, dogs and gunshots and things. We can't.
Yes.
Because we can't rest. We had to move. Yeah.
Do you have a second one you'd like to share with us? Yes, Travis.
Yeah, man. Let me do a second. Before I do a second one, I want to do a little jingle for you, you know. I remember I used to be the education officer at the Folk Research Center in St. Lucia. Have you heard of the Folk Research Center? The Folk Research Center, it got burnt a couple of years ago, but it's really an institution that did a lot of research into St. Lucian folk culture and promotes the indigenous Creole language, etc. So I worked there, and then we used to have a school program where a lot of students used to come, and I used to have to teach them St. Lucian culture, to appreciate the culture and so on. This song I used to love to sing to them, this little jingle, because they used to like it. It goes like this. Kibel bateau, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday, kibel bateau betilia aday. Yes, I used to love the train. Used to love that.
What does that song mean? Tell me what it means.
Literally, what it means is Kibel Bateau is what a nice boat. Kibel Bateau, what a nice boat. Betilia Adai means Betilia, a woman, is inside of the boat. Right? So the way I used to interpret it for the young ones was like, it's like this fisherman that built a really nice, beautiful canoe, and his lady went and sit in it. And he was so happy, he started singing and dancing and celebrating. Kibel Bateau,
yes, man.
Kibel Bateau, Betilia Adai, Kibel Bateau, Betilia Adai.
Right.
Yeah, wonderful.
So Travis, when I studied French Creole at the university, I took like a course, a short course. I learned a song as well. It goes something like Matete ya kwab kiranu solid konsa zeyame manyok kiranu bande kanuye wayaya. and the professor was telling us it's a song about crab soup. How crab soup make you strong, like it's like a strong back in Guadeloupe, a strong back portion in Guadeloupe. So we Caribbean people we sing about the same things. Man I sing about boat. You ever see man I sing so happy about boat? Please.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Travis. That was really nice to hear it in St. Lucian Creole. Man.
Thanks.
Wow.
Now I want to do one that is a sonnet actually in Creole. This one was written by my father.
Go right ahead.
I learned so much from my father in terms of Creole and theater, etc. And he has been experimenting writing sonnets in Creole. He's 86 years, by the way. And so I want to read this one that's really just called Creole Sonnets by him. And it goes like this. Let's get it. Moi vle écrit un sonnet en créole. Mais n'a besoin 14 lignes bien choisies. Plein son, excellence, en chaîne de belles paroles. Que tout bagaille ensemble en jismizi. Pour réussir, n'a ni pour ni aussi. Plus mot pour fournir moins de belles images. Quand la terre commençait qu'à noisir, pendant le soleil s'efflamme parmi les nuages. Mais est-ce créole peut liminer en page? Fait voyer éticelle, fourneau d'effet. Quand les pauvres babois qu'a fait ménage, bail corps et l'âme assistance pour continuer. Mais oui, ou dit, ivrer, tout ça peut fait. Pucci Creole, pas ça produit sonnet. Rhetorical question, eh? You got it? Why? Who says Creole can produce sonnet?
A little bit. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I got that first part. Who could say such a thing?
Right.
Travis,
let me give you another song there. Right?
Okay.
Si moi dou ça fait moi la peine. Mais oui, ça vrai. Si moi dou ça croisé chez moi. Mais oui, ça vrai. Si moi dou ça fait moi la peine. Mais oui, ça vrai. Si maman ya choma, yo pas qu'à faire l'amour pour rien. Si moi dou ça fait moi la peine. Mais oui, ça vrai. Si moi dou ça croisé chez moi. Mais oui, ça vrai. Si moi dou ça fait moi la peine, mais oui, ça vrai. C'est maman ya choma, yo pas qu'à faire l'amour. That's like a lady we used to call the Queen of Folk. She passed away some years ago. Would be the equivalent to your Louise Bennett, except that she sang. She didn't write poetry, but she was really brilliant. And she sang this song, this what I just sang there. And the lyrics are really interesting. Now, mind you, she must have made this song about 60 years ago, but but she's saying like, if I tell you that gives me grief, it is true. The children of today don't make love, literally, don't make love for nothing, So she's saying, but it really, I guess at the time, the changing times were reflected in her music, etc.
Yes.
But
yes.
she was really brilliant,
Good.
Yes.
Travis, how do we get to see your work? Yeah, do you have a page, a website? How do you get in contact with you and your work?
It's interesting that you asked that. I'm just remembering my sister was encouraging me to get my website done today. However, yes, I've just published a book recently. It's called, can you see? I guess you're not really seeing the real text. Yes, but it's two plays in there called The Fight for Bellevue and The Field of Power. It's available on Amazon. I write, as I told you earlier, using the cultural material from the Caribbean. So in here, songs and stories within the drama, within the play, of course. And it's written in order for directors and dramatists to utilize our folk dances, folk culture, etc. Available on Amazon. It has been done, these plays before, Barbados, St. Lucia. So I'm really pleased to share it. It has been, selling quite a bit. So yeah, good, great.
Good. All right, thank you very much. So I want you to send me the link to that book, Travis.
All right.
We're going to try to promote all the authors that we've heard here today as much as we can on our Society for Caribbean Linguistics page.
Wonderful, thanks. How do I get it to you? How do I send the link to you?
People contacting you. Yes. So send me the link. All right, now. So in the house, and this is, thank you, Travis. Now, just by chance today, I was on my computer and somebody sent me a Facebook message, none other than Joan Andrea Hutchinson from Jamaica, the original Bumpy Head Girl, sent me a message. And I was telling Joan the other day, Joan, when you want to set up your website so that people can see your work and that kind of thing, and she shared the logo with me and everything. And I said, Joan, why are you later? Why don't you come and join this panel and give us some of your poems? So before we get to Joan, I want to introduce Joan because Travis mentioned Louise Bennett just now. But what a lot of people don't know is that the spirit of Louise Bennett channel into people like Joan Andrea Hutchinson big time. And she has in many ways carried on the mantle of Miss Lou. And she has been doing so for a long time, even when she was not getting the kind of love and appreciation that Miss Lou has gotten throughout her life. Joan Andrea Hutchinson has continued nonetheless. She has authored 3 books on Jamaican culture, Make Me Tell You, a collection of Jamaican language poems and dramatic monologues, In My Heart, a collection of Jamaican language love poems, and Kinteet Kiba Heart Bun, a series of narratives which highlight the creativity of Jamaicans who have learned to turn them hand and make fashion. That is, use creative means to compensate whenever things were tight financially. She has also recorded 7 CDs focusing on different aspects of Jamaican culture, including proverbs, Anansi stories, life in Jamaica, and the Jamaican diaspora. A philanthropist by nature, she is very interested in development work and has taught adult literacy as a volunteer in several different programs. Above all, Joan Andrea Hutchinson is a mother, a student of life, and in her words, God, good up, girl, pick me. Welcome, Joan Andrea Hutchinson, to the Caribbean Language Virtual Festival session 2 on poetry and storytelling. Joan, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Joan Andrea Hutchinson.
Okay, unmuted. Yeah, man.
Good.
You can hear me now?
We can hear you. So,
yeah,
Joan,
yeah.
we need at least 3 poems, and hopefully you can give us one of the love poems. Joan, I want to tell you, one of the things that happens whenever I teach a Jamaican Creole course is that we always have a class that falls around the time of Valentine's Day. And I say to my students, what would happen one day if you see this nice boy or this nice girl on the campus and you go up to them and you start talking to them, and when this person turn around and start talking to you straight patois, would you continue talking to this person? And they say, boy, sir, me don't know it, because sometimes the patois kind of rough, and me say, stop chat foolishness. I am going to read for you poems that show you how patois can convey the deepest kind of love. And what do? I draw for your book, because that book, In My Heart, shows you the spectrum, the continuum of love from when the relationship start to when it get rocky, till when it done, till when it catch up back again. And Joan carries us through all the emotions exclusively in Jamaican language. So I hope one of the poems that you're going to do for us is a poem from that book. Maybe Rasta Love or Tug Love. That would be nice to hear that one, Joan. So Joan, over to you.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I'll jump off right there, because I wrote this particular book, In My Heart, because a lot of people think that the Jamaican language can only be used for coarse and rough concepts. And I said to people, no, absolutely not. So one of the poems in this book, it's called In My Heart. I don't know if you can see the book cover. This is it, In My Heart. And this is called Ready for Love You. Me not come off an IT table. Me not on a university degree. Me no bossy and pretentious about life, but what you see is me. What you see me check for you. Me can't carry go to expensive spot. Me can't turn up fancy food. Me can't take your hypocrite kin teeth friend in. But what me can do, I treat you good. And you see me will love you right. Unlike me, you have gold spoon in your mouth. You're not short or nothing. But from what me see, you look like you could have do with just a little loving. So see me here, me ready to kill you with love. That's the end. You can applaud. Yes. Right. But you know, as I said, it's an I like the book because you know it takes you through all the different phases of love. This is one of my favorites. It is called one of my favorites. It's called A You More For David. You see, because sometimes as individuals, as a woman, for example, you put on like a weight, you think your boyfriend don't find you attractive. As a man, you lose little your hair, you think your girlfriend don't find you attractive. We are usually the ones with the problem, right? This is called A You More For David. Even if you put on 50 pounds, even if you're sick and maga down, even if you bleach the black for favor brown, are you more for David? Even if your foot shaped like Afuyam and your hand look like Sang of the Banana Man, even if you claim Rasta but quietly lick the ham, are you more for David? So even though you're behaving like a clown and a few name them call all over town, I just you more for be around, I just you more for David. You know, so sometimes, you know, we are the ones with the issue. The partner is not the one with the issue, but we are the one with the issue. We always think, you know, bad person, you know. But there's one poem I want to do from this, and it's the last poem in the book. It's called Why You Never Met Me Leave. Because every now and then we hear of these situations of domestic violence. You know, man kill woman and then kill himself. My thing is now I say, listen to the men. If you don't want to do the murder-suicide thing, why don't do the suicide part first? I always ask myself, do the suicide part first, huh? Why don't I kill the woman them and then kill myself? But sometimes as friends, right, we see the signals, we see the signs, and whenever it happens, somebody's always gonna say, oh, you know, I saw, or she did tell me that. Hindsight is always 2020. So this is called Why You Never Make Me Leave. Me dream love everything me ever wanted, more than me could have ever perceived. Big splash wedding, even bigger house. Me know me would have never leave. My plan to give him all of my love. For him plan was to deceive. More lie than any fiction writer best fantasy. But me love him, no want leave. Me ask question in box me till me ears ring. Even the neighbor them start to grieve. Me just soak my troubles in the marble jacuzzi. Love paralyzed, me couldn't leave. Sometimes me feel me the one runway. But then me hear you please. It is a good catch, man. Take me like 1 and 2 lick. You're a stupid for go leave. The last battering of 17 stitches me get. Him beat without reprieve. But when him done is a bends that me see come. Hey, me glad me never leave. My auntie she bout me feel left him. She lucky. A jealousy in her heart just a heave. She wish she had half of this your luxury. I bet you she would have never gone to leave. Well, them bury me broke up by the back of the church yesterday. My spirit now upon open seas. Only no bother with the cow balling and the young island, the long eye water. Why would never make me leave? And the point is, you know, every time something like that happens, friends are always going to be close who say, boy, I didn't know and she did tell me or me see. And, you know, and sometimes your friends them actually tell you, know, I've heard people tell people, stay, man, you know, the man have money, stay.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
so
yes.
This is how art mirrors life. We have to use art to mirror life because there's so many different topics, you know. All right, so I want to look a bit at my comedy work. This is very, very topical, and this was a watershed moment in my life, and for a lot of women. I heard in Norca talk about the hair issue in one of your poems. And, you know, next year, 2021, marks 25 years since there was a really big issue in Jamaica about my hair. You know, the hairstyle that they call China bump? Anybody know it? Nubian knots or Bantu knots. In Jamaica, what you do is when you wash your hair, you put it in the China bumps, you call it, at home, but you don't leave your yard and go nowhere with it. Well, I had lived overseas for a couple of years, and you know, you become evolved. Yeah, you evolve when you live outside of Jamaica. So I come back home, my outer self, and I had my hair in my China bob. So I went to host a television program because you know I'm a television presenter. Well, it was at the time, and you know I joked about it was a program about education for young people, teaching young people to take responsibility for self, etc. And by the end of the program, this is me in my bumpy head, right? Hosting this program, thinking I'm so wonderful and thing. By the end of the program, the station received 26 phone calls from people who were angry because I had confronted them with an image of themselves that they did not like. Because at that point, everybody in television had straightened hair. Nobody wore locks on television at that point. Nobody wore like Inorca's hairstyle. That was just not accepted on television. So here was I with my bumpy head, People call and cuss me. And I'm telling you, the language was vitriolic. It was like, take that dirty, bumpy head gal off the TV. Take that dirty, rasta-looking gal off the TV. It was as strong as that. But my response, because I say I was raised by a mother who told me every day that I was the most gorgeous thing in the world. So I don't really have them self-esteem issues, honestly. My response was, tell me, say me not good enough for your TV screen. How may offend your eyesight? Tell me, say me's a black, ugly, bumpy head gal. I'ma tell you, I'm feeling right. Cause me say me's a butu. I may not have no class. Trace me and gala rude. Tell me say a educated woman should have know a little better. I'ma tell you, I'm feeling good. You say me hairstyle disgusting and chaka and tan bad and feel like sitting out a street. And say me should have shameful left my house tan so. I'm a smile, I'm feeling sweet. You see, the truth is, me not afraid of my own self. Me not ashamed of me. When me looking at the mirror, me like the smile when me see her look upon me. Me like her thick nappy hair and her broad face. Me like her in and outer clothes. And best of all, me love how she turn up for and defend and unopposed she oppose. But serious, when you ever fall in love with you and let go of all of your fear, when you go take the time, tell God thanks for your life instead of fret about here. Because if it kinky or straight, if we black or white, transparent or opaque, God make all of it for a special reason. And God do make mistake. But you see, if you go criticize the Father work, then your life are going to be salt. Because God love me and He look out for me, even when we have no fault. So, go on. Call me black and bumpy head if you want, but make sure you say it loud. Because the Creator love me and me feel good to be bumpy head, black and proud. That was People, that was 1996, and I don't know if you've been following the news in Jamaica this week about this court ruling about this little girl going to school with her hearing loss. I mean, that was 24 years ago. I mean, so in fact, next year, because it marks the 25th year, I plan to actually write the book about the hair issue, 25 letters. So I've actually started writing the book and I'm working on it. Now, a lot of people talked about Miss Lou, and, you know, I am privileged to have had a very good personal relationship with Miss Lou. Miss Lou was the icon, but she was also somebody who took me under wing. Whenever I was writing and I didn't understand something about Jamaican culture, I could pick up the phone and call her in Canada. Miss Lou, how this go? And she never, ever put me off the phone. She always had time for me. Sometimes she'd call me on a Sunday and we would chat. And, you know, the privilege was mine to lay down cross with Miss Lou bed in Canada, and she'd tell me some old-time things about Jamaica. So it's a privilege for me. And this piece was written years ago. It's called Thank You, Miss Lou, Thank You. Me's a born Jamaican and made me proud. I'm a want you to feel proud too. To walk around and big up your chest and say thanks to Miss Lou. When she did start, she never knew how it would go. And enough people went to laugh and I call her Papi Show. But she gallant trang and she stick it out because she knows that she did right. In her belly bottom, she know one day they would have to see the light. You see, when time trouble take we, and Miss Lou went put with good name on the map. And she just pushed Jamaica heritage and lad. She wouldn't stop. She said, take kin teeth, keep a heart bun. When time's never sweet, good luck will come as long as foul a catch up down the heap. Now for them when things say she crazy and enough make up them face. Oh, she a chat this boogie yaga patwa sitting all over the place. For them when think patwa was bad English, they never know poor thing. They wouldn't tell Nancy story and folk song, they wouldn't sing. But at the jackass with him long tail bag of cocoa coming down and the peel jump up on tree top just make them head spin round. And little by little, them start to back her, start to fan her flame. And see after 50 years, Miss Lou, our household name. Now, we're not ashamed to chat with one language, and we not thank you for it, Miss Lou. Them a teach it clear at university, and on the sake of you. Them a make film, them a write book, them a sing whole heap of song. And I say, hell, Patwa is a good language, but you didn't know that all along. So now, we turn up proud to be Jamaican, and we want the whole world to hear Miss Lou, enough thanks for how the Antenki never broke no square. So that's my tribute to Miss Lou. That's my tribute to Miss Lou. All right. All right, you have space for one more?
One more? Oh, you mean, of course, man. Give me a next one, man.
All right, well, you know, we're in hurricane season, right? And all kind of things hurricane. Now, when we had Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, oh my God. All of you in Jamaica, the Jamaicans in the group, anyone was in Jamaica in 1988, Hurricane Gilbert? Yes, man.
I was there.
So the thing with Gilbert, you know, there were all these stories. I don't know if anything was ever true, but there are all these stories about, you know, old woman walk with fridge on her back because, you know, like a lot of the stores, the roof got mashed up and the sides got mashed up. So people were looting, right? So next thing now, one next hurricane come named Hurricane Ivan. But you see, God have a sense of humor. Now, if you really tell me, say people could have wicked, some would have telling us, say a lie. But the other day, hurricane passed through, Ivan passed through Jamaica and left me poor girl a cry. Me never holler because storm blow my house and left me in a grief. Me never bawl because my apple tree blow down, but me bawl because people too thief. Thief, me say crumogin and red eye, bad mind and just tan bad. Thief because them skin ever scratch them for where other people have. Thief because them don't know how to satisfy, just like the dog and the bone. Thief because them don't know how to cut them eye and left people things alone. So the radio announced says big breeze blower come, and my granny she jump up. She said, "Y'all, courts have plenty nice things up there. Go and go try your luck." She said before Gilbert Fairhouse did empty so till she could even smile. But at Gilbert, they are fridge, TV, and microwave and make sure live in a style. So me pack my coffee, my crackers and tootin and mackerel. And of course, me pack my chimney. We go camp out front of courts whole night to see where Ivan a go give me. Me want one new fridge and one microwave. Me want an entertainment center and big screen TV. Me want one divan. And although me no know one, me want one DVD. But the courts, people put up one rotted stamp shutter there. Not even Ivan could have tear it down. Them not have no conscience, have me a drench whole night, like a most me nearly drown. Me say when the breeze a blow, me have to hang on pa one light post and catch pa one maca tree limb. The water splish and splash me clear a war. It's a good thing me could have swim. Me say the wet me and have Diego and one piece of shorter breath. Imagine Ivan bleach and the bleach whole night, Ivan come and gone, and all me get was wet. But what a hurricane wicked and purpose to ye. Me don't know where to Ivan. Have me about a whole night till me sick and left me with me too long hand. Well, no bus never run, so me did have to walk, go a Portmore. Me cuss Ivan the whole way. When me catch on the road, me hide them up in wide. Suppose you see how the place stay. All kind of tree trunk, car part and people roof. Catter, the place look bad. When me look, my roof on one side of my house gone. Trust me, me nearly mad. And when me take a stock, the whole of my furniture's them gone like Sammy Mouth. The curmudgeon teethy people go in on my house and take out when they take out. No, if you know the tell me, say people could have wicked, some would have tell you to say a lie. Cause me never know say thief broke house in a rain, that are worse than dry eye. So see me, me band me belly and me ball because Ivan left me in a grief. My heart full to the brim because from me band, me name was say people can so thief. So, you know, the Jamaican proverb that say thief from thief, oh God, thief from thief, God laugh.
Thief from thief. Thief never like to see thief with long bag.
Thief not like to see thief with long bag, and thief from thief, God laugh. Oh yes, oh yes. Mm-hmm. So I use my work, you know, tell people I'm pretty much like a journalist. I document aspects of Jamaica using the Jamaican language. That's what I like.
Yes. Thank you very much, John. John, one of the things that I've always been pressuring you to do, you know, is to ensure that people can access your work with a click of a button very easily. What is the best way to access your work, John? Tell us.
Boy, I have been so bad. The weakest aspect of my work is the marketing and the promotion. That's the weakest aspect. So, Clive, I take your telling today. You talk to me rough over the phone today. I'm going to take your telling. I am going to start on the website tomorrow. That is a promise. So the next time you talk to me, I will tell you website is up and things. So, you know, I mean, I've just not been good on the whole marketing and thing of my work. But, you know, I have 7 CDs. I have 3 books. They're in the shops in Jamaica. But, you know, they need to be available for download. So
Right.
I'm going to get onto it.
I have all the CDs. A couple of them you autograph for me. But it's hard to find them. It's hard to find them
I know.
online. It's hard to find them in some of the bookstores.
Clive, I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
If everybody could send you the link to their work or their websites or whatever it is, I would send you my website and, you know, the links to my books, and maybe you could, you know, just publish the links that people send, and that would be...
Yes, I plan to.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I plan to. So all of you who have works of poetry, painting, stories, you name it, feel free to send me the link, and I'm going to share it to the Society for Caribbean Linguistics. So it will be circulated to people all over the Caribbean, internationally as well. So, you know, we need to put you authors on the map, man. You can't be writing wicked poetry, some good poetry in all of the beautiful languages of the Caribbean, and then people can't hear it.
Yeah, indeed.
Fine.
Indeed.
So I am is a challenge to you guys now, you know, to market the things, curate them. You know, I if I go online right now, if I go on like Apple Music, I can get almost all of your poems, John.
Yeah, and I
you don't know if the money I got to you.
That's
Right,
the
the
whole
same
point.
thing, right? Me don't need the money I got to you.
That's the whole point. A lot of people, and so I think that's one of the reasons I've been a little reticent to do it, because look, I remember turning up for a show in New York to perform, and somebody was there with my CDs, selling my CDs even before I arrived with my CDs to sell after my performance. You understand? I mean, this happens,
Yeah.
and you gotta get it turned off sometimes until you can't bother. But no, I need to start. And all of us as writers in here, people, this is 2020. We need to start monetizing our works. People can't be out there making money off our work, and we're not making money. So we have to make a commitment to start monetizing.
Here. Yeah, monetize it. Protect your intellectual property. You think enough of them dibby writer there in North America write all kind of foolishness and make you ever try thief it. Make you ever try. You know how hard it is for me take a little dibby poem and say me I go share it with my course. Me I forget all kind of copyright release and the poem I good enough. All right.
Yeah.
So Caribbean writers, Caribbean poets, please curate your stuff. Start your own YouTube channel. Start your own website so that whenever we buy something, the money goes right into your pocket.
Yeah,
good.
It will be done. It will be done soon.
Good. All right. So I'm for persons who didn't get a chance to read any poetry but are still here in the chat room, would you like to ask a question of any of our poets? Marisol, Joan, Andre, Hubert, if any of you have a question, Renata, if any of you have a question of any of our poets, feel free to ask. We're more or less at the end of this session right now, but I'll allow any question if there's somebody who wants to know more about a particular poem or how to access it. Now is a good time to ask. Any of you are available? Andre, Hubert, Joan, Marisol. Marisol, no question? No question from you, Marisol?
Okay, I'll go. Clyde?
Yes, Andre.
Hi, Auntie Joan. Andre here from Singers. How you do?
Hey, Medea, what's a go on?
I'm just wondering.
Okay, yes, Andre. Andre is...
Hello?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit, Andre, but continue.
Okay, I'm just wondering, Auntie Joan, if in the same way that Miss Lou sort of trained you and had you as a protege, do you have anyone who you're doing that kind of training with?
Well, I'm not doing training. I'm not doing training per se, but where the legacy continues is that if you go to the JCDC festival competition every year, oh, my heart is just totally warmed, because my work, Miss Lou's work, and I think 2 other authors, I mean, we eat up the entire festival competition. All the kids in the schools are performing the work, and that is where the legacy continues. Every now and then somebody will call me and say, can you help my child with so and so? But the kids are out there performing the pieces in festival, and that feels really, really so good to watch the different interpretations, really good.
Yes, I want to tell you as well, Andre.
That, can I just say one thing, Auntie Joan, on that note? I got a gold medal performing Your Most Creative. So I'm a part of that legacy, essentially. And I'm happy. I had to tell you before, but I'm happy to share it.
Yeah, man. Thank
Show
you
off.
so much.
Show off, Andre. So just to add to Andre's point,
me have to make you feel good, Clyde. Me have to make you feel good. Me have to make you feel good. I didn't know it meant that much to her.
Yes,
that she was considering little lowly us, but I'm happy. Yeah,
man. Every now and again, Joan comes to Canada, and what was it, Joan? Last year, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, she was a part of the Heritage Singers 40th anniversary, and Joan and I were on the same stage, people. The same stage, yes, because I helped to choreograph really the kind of dinky mini dance for the Heritage Singers. And I came on for our last scene as a fire and brimstone pastor, and Joan was a mother woman on the stage. And,
yes, I love that character.
You remember, man, whenever Joan comes to Canada, people are eager to see her. So Joan, let me tell you something. One of the things I joke to Canadian people about, is that they always deride Celine Dion. But I tell them, say, listen, man, when Celine Dion ready, she can come take up her throne at Jamaica, because we love Celine Dion.
That's right.
And it's the same way with you, Joan. if anytime you're tired, you can come to Canada, we're ready for you, right? We're ready for you because there's a kind of void, there's a kind of hole after Miss Lou passed away in 2006.
Right,
And we're
right,
ready
right.
for you. We're ready for you. And because you're still young girl, Joan.
Yeah, understand? Young.
Yes,
You know.
you're still
Well,
young girl. So whenever you're ready.
yeah,
But
man.
I just want to thank all the poets, everybody who turned out today. It was really good having you all as a part of this session. Initially I was expecting just 5 persons, and then with a few quick calls, and everybody's just said yes. Joan said yes, just like that. The folks from Jamaica Association of Montreal said, yeah man, we could log on just like that, and people came out, and it was good to see all of you. Now tomorrow we're going to have another session in the afternoon at 12, and this is we're calling it a community panel, where persons who've done research, community members, not just academics now, but community members who have done research and are carrying on projects to preserve their language and their culture. We'll be hearing from persons in Guyana. We'll be hearing from persons in Costa Rica. It will be streamed live on Facebook at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is 11 a.m. Jamaica time. So if anybody here is interested in tuning into the session tomorrow, and it will be our last session for the Virtual Language Festival, but by no means the last virtual event, because given the interest and the enthusiasm that has been generated over the last 2 sessions, we're hoping that we will continue to do this in the months ahead, leading up to the next conference, which is going to be all the way in 2022 in Trinidad for our 50th anniversary. Hopefully everybody who is here can come out, right?
I will surely join.
All right. What? All
No,
right,
man.
that sounds good. And so because it that you said that now, Joan. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to contact you, Joan, because we need a panel on Caribbean poetry. I don't think we've had that at the Society for Caribbean Linguistics. We need a panel on Caribbean poetry, and Joan, I want you to head that panel.
We will talk. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. We will talk.
So,
yeah, man.
so good. So I want that to happen. I want to see people like Inork. I want to see people like Aubrey. I want to see people like Travis on that panel as well, right? You guys might not be doing the kind of language research and language description that many of us linguists do, but what you're doing is very important, because you are ensuring that the language continues its vitality. You're ensuring that the language lives on you see, nothing that I do, many of us linguists, none of the things that we publish and the research that we do is done in primary schools or high schools. But poetry is, music is, painting is showing in those contexts. So you guys are nurturing a kind of grassroots movement where people can be proud of their language, proud of their culture, their heritage, their aesthetics, their skin, their hair. Very important. And we love if you could be a part of the Society for Caribbean Linguistics 50th anniversary. It's going to be bashment in Trinidad. It's going to be bacchanal in Trinidad.
Count me in. I'm
man.
I'm in.
2022. And my gosh, hopefully we don't have COVID-20 or something like that. But, all being well, we'll be partying in Trinidad in 2 years' time. And I'd love to see
I'm
all
ready.
of you out there. You're ready. And just to point out, Joan does linguistic research too. So Joan, we need to get you back on that side of things, right? We need to get you back into linguistics.
I think so too.
So thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, one and all. Yes, Joan. Yes, Joan.
No party in Trinidad. It's fete time.
It's fete. Well, I'm ready
time.
for
Well,
that.
all
I'm
right.
ready for the fete.
We Jamaicans say bashment.
Yeah,
Bashment
I'm
will
ready
do
for the
party is too stush. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right. Ready for the
I'm ready
fete.
for the fete.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, Joan. Me hear the cricket. Them have some fete in your background, though.
You understand? You understand?
Some cricket a jump carnival.
Oh yes. I have all
In your
kind of
background.
animals and insects and everything in my yard. Yeah, man. Love it.
Hey man, it's the Caribbean. Me know, man. If it is Jamaica, now, I two crown lizard over my head.
Oh, you understand?
Thank you all for coming out. Really nice to see you, beautiful people. Folks from the Jamaica Association for Montreal, I'm going to send you an email because we need a last session with Natalie. Since Natalie didn't get a chance to do her poems, I'm going to organize a last session with you guys. But thank you all for coming out. Stay tuned for the session tomorrow. Have a good day.
Yes, man. See you all. Take care. God bless.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.